Okay. Our coach.
Okay. Ready to go for another week. We played Benedict last week, and probably the best part about the whole affair, other than the fact that we won the game, was that we came out pretty much injury-free. The only injury that I got to report is Philip Henry, who was hurt last Wednesday in practice, last Wednesday morning. And he did not play Saturday, but he was back at practice yesterday afternoon, so we figured that he'll be okay also. We have one suspension that we'll continue to work with for the next 3 weeks. That'll be Javaris Lima, but he'll be back for our conference. He'll be back for our conference game against Hampton on the 27th. So that's more an academic issue of sorts, but at the same time, he will be back then. So our team is close to full speed, and hopefully we can continue to keep them well through the Clemson game. One of the big issues last year that when we played, because we did lose 3 guys last year for some time in the Clemson game. We lost Shaq Harrison, one of our offensive linemen who has not played anymore, to a knee injury. We lost Julius Pendergrass, who broke his leg, who's no longer with us. And we had another injury to Tyler, some other guys. We had some other guys who missed some games afterwards. But the big part of this game for us this weekend is to get through it pretty healthy and to go out and play well. Next. Go.
Well, Coach, after the game, you talked about really not learning anything about this team following just because the win was so lopsided. After having watched film, have you learned anything about what this team is?
I think we've learned some about what our possibilities are. We didn't play all that well, especially in the first half at Benedict, and our defense did a nice job of keeping them out of the end zone. But at times, they had struggles themselves. So we've got our work cut out for us to continue to improve a good bit from this past week, because this game, obviously, would be a lot more difficult than the one we played last week.
Would you rather play the Clemson team coming off a big win, or the team you're going to be facing coming off a tough loss?
Well, I kind of wish they had won. That would give them some reason to not pay quite as much attention to us. But at the same time, it is what it is. You don't get choices in these matters, and I don't believe Georgia's going to go back and give them a win. So we need to prepare for the situation that we have, in place. But it will be interesting to see just how excited they are to come out and play us this coming Saturday. It'll be their first home game. It'll be youth day. You got a lot of reason for incentive. These guys all know each other. We got a lot of guys on our team that played with guys on their team and what have you. So, they'll still be, as excited and play as hard as they ever will.
Before the Georgia game, what type of Clemson team would you have expected?
Well, you think, it's like all the Swedish teams. They're all focused and excited to play. You go back and look at some of the games that they've been a part of in the last so many odd years. I don't know if I've ever seen them not come out and be extremely focused and prepared and all the things you can think of when you start talking about a team being ready to play. So you can pretty much bet that the people they got in place and the coordinators and everybody in that program will have a mission that they want to accomplish. So we got our work cut out for us to be able to get in there and actually stay with those guys.
You look at their quarterback. Do you expect both to see action?
I would think that you see both, and now that we've seen both play, there is some subtle differences between the two offenses, between the two kids, but at the same time, it is what it is. We can pretty much plan to see everything they have available to them for the game.
I guess, do you expect local kid Mike Williams to have a better game than he did last week?
Well, let's hope not. I'm happy for the fact that he's been playing very well. But now you got kids from all over that place. You got the Johnson kid, the Smith kid, the Williams kid. All those kids are from right here in the Orangeburg area. You got a kid in Alabama, you got a kid that's kind of what you deal with when you deal with one of these games. You got a lot of local kind of connections that kind of way. And, the best thing for us at this point is just to get in there and get ready to play for whoever shows.
How do you assess Collick's performance, and then him coming back to the upstate? Is any concern about him getting distracted?
Let's hope not. I think his first game ended up being a good one. He had his troubles at times. Some of the kinds of things that he just got to do by just fundamentally being correct in certain ways, should fix some of the problems that he had. He's got to be a little more flexible. He's got to be, a little more protecting of the football. And he's got to be a little bit understanding of the possibilities of different kind of little issues that might go on within the game, the snaps, that kind of stuff. So he's got all kinds of things that he's got to do to actually make himself be, a better operator of the overall process. But at the same time, he's one game in right now to his starting quarterback's position here at South Carolina State, and we think that he'll continue to improve this week and the next weeks a little bit each week to the point where he'll eventually be, the kind of quarterback that we think we need to have.
You had a lot of success running the football, particularly run blocking as well. How much of a challenge is that going to be against this Clemson defensive line?
A big one. I think one of the scouts came through here a couple months ago and said that they had maybe 8 or 10 guys, on their defense that are lead NFL style kind of guys. Might be as many as has been on any one team in a long, long time. And they've got depth up front in the defensive front and the linebacking core like you wouldn't believe. So it'll be extremely difficult to consistently run the football against this style of defense. And, we'll have our work cut out for us to come up with a plan that's going to give us a chance to, keep the ball away from their offense some, because the best thing you can possibly do, in a situation like this is to keep the football and shorten the game. On
the flip side, Clinic had a lot of success passing the football against your own secondary. After one game in, how do you think the secondary is going to be challenged against this particular group?
A lot. It's going to be a big challenge for us. And, whoever plays for them, I'm sure will be trying to, fix all of their ills and what have you as they go about their way to picking up their passing game. So they'll be working pretty hard to make our secondary work to their favor. I guarantee you, though, that our guys will play better this week than they did last. That's kind of how you do it, in college football, with the fact that we don't have, like, say, the NFL guys when they have scrimmages against other teams and high school even when you have scrimmages against other teams. You get that first real live action in a way that you make a big improvement from that point on. So, I think that's the X factor in, whether or not our secondary can be able to stand up against, this style of offense a bunch, because we need to make a big improvement from last week. And, part of it is that, our young secondary just got to get an understanding of some of the things that and the speed and the pace of things that you actually have in college football.
Well, Coach, you're 2 wins shy of 100, but is it safe to say if you're able to get win 99 this Saturday, that'll make win 100 anticlimactic?
You're probably right. Yeah, if we can win this weekend, then I might quit this week. But at the same time, it's another game, and we wish all of our schools in the state the best, except for when we play them. It would be fun to win these games against our in-state rivals, and we just kind of see how it works out when it works out.
Speaking about conferences performing well, you had yourself, Bethune-Cookman, went outside of conference. Then you had Morgan State actually play Eastern Michigan down to the final quarter. What does that say about what you see about the conference? All also that's A&T winning as well.
Yeah. You have some tough games in our league. Our league is improved. I've said all the time that we were going to, experience a pretty good influx of good coaching talent here in the next couple of years, and all these guys, all these colleges in the league, have a sincere desire to compete effectively in the game of football. They see the benefits of having a good, strong football program. So you can bet that all these guys will be better. You're exactly right. I thought A&T was extremely impressive yesterday. It's pretty obvious that Bethune must be good as usual. I mean, the winner game in the fashion that they did. And then, you talk about the Morgan deal. I'm not exactly sure how it went, but I know the score was close. The Norfolk deal was one that you need to think about also, because Norfolk played Maine, and Maine was a top 25 program. Very, very close at that place. I think it was like 10-6 or something of that nature. So it was very, very close. So, you can better bet that wherever you go to play in the league this year, you're gonna have to have your stuff together. If not, you're gonna probably get your feelings hurt.